The 60 Minutes interview was a great chance to hear Harry and Meghan's story, in case you missed their 2-hour sit-down with Oprah or their 6-part Netflix documentary.
Said, let us have an end to this debate about what makes a good man at B1.
There you go.
You can use that.
Good knowledge.
You can use that. That's the part. That's the part we're editing out of this interview. Boy, right there. All right.
Very similar to this experience.
Unlike what?
That's right. You can carry on. You were doing great. You were doing.
No, you're doing great.
Like, my life was so hard. Everybody's life is hard.
Yeah,
you were the prince of a goddamn country who dressed up as a Nazi, and now you're trying to come back as the Pope? Suck it.
Queen summoned everyone to a private meeting. Everyone attended except Meghan Markle. And I'll be honest, I don't blame Meghan for not going, because nothing good happens when white people invite you to the countryside. We've all seen Get Out. We know how this shit ends.
I'm preparing my guests some soul food that my British husband calls a packet of crisps. Can be a tricky dish to master, especially when a packet is being... Oh my God, you've been knocked down by the crisps. So vulnerable, I love it.
I'm just down here holding space.
And now, the finishing touches, a flower.
Oh, and if you don't Google things, you're the only person I can show this to. It's a cat who plays the electric piano. You had to be there. In 2007.
She's like, I can't believe they were racist. Wait, the whitest family on the planet. The original motherfuckers.
Harry, get your limey ginger ass down here and clear this up!
President Trump also announced a new trade deal with the UK that will reopen British markets for American companies. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two.
No! No! I refuse! I'm sick of it!
Now for the tricky part. Place in microwave. What is microwave? I don't think we have any of that.
Are you fucking dumb?
It's a microwave, silly.
Don't talk to me like that, you bitch! I'm a fucking duchess! Shake that off!
Oh!
Damn! Meghan Markle just earned a label nobody chases, nobody dreams of, and nobody wants attached to their name. 2025's most hated public figure. And yes, that's not exaggeration. That's the verdict being whispered in comedy clubs, shouted on late-night television, and laughed about across award stages. This woman went from a barely remembered actress to a duchess, and somehow managed to offend half the entertainment industry in record time. Comedians didn't just joke about her, they lined up. Late-night hosts sharpened their punchlines. Satirists turned her entire life into material. And the scary part? Most of them weren't guessing. They were reacting. Because once Meghan Markle opened her mouth, the industry smelled blood. And the first person brave enough to say what millions were thinking, but were too afraid to say out loud, was Chris Rock. He didn't nibble at the edges. He didn't soften the blow. He detonated the entire victim narrative in minutes. Gone on, Oprah. I didn't know. I had no idea how racist they were. It's the royal family. I didn't Google these. Chris Rock wasn't confused. He was offended by the audacity, offended by the idea that someone could marry into one of the oldest monarchies on earth and then act shocked when it didn't behave like a Hollywood brunch table. What the is she talking about? She didn't know that it's the royal family. They're the original racists. And that line landed because it wasn't cruel. It was obvious. Acting surprised about royal baggage is like joining the mafia and being mad about crime. Like marrying into the Budweiser family and complaining they drink too much. And then came the moment that cracked the entire story wide open. They're so racist. They wanted to know how brown the baby's going to be. I'm like, that's not racist. Cause even black people want to know how brown the baby going to be. That was it. The spell broke. A question that had been framed as racism suddenly looked like normal curiosity. And once Chris Rock said it out loud, nobody could unhear it. Manufactured drama, inflated outrage, a story stretched until it screamed. And after that, the floodgates opened. Colin Jost didn't hesitate. President Trump also announced a new trade deal with the UK that will reopen British markets for American companies. All that Britain demands in return is that we keep these two. That wasn't just a joke. That was exile humor. Britain didn't want them, America didn't want them, and suddenly Meghan and Harry looked like cultural refugees with nowhere left to land. And when Saturday Night Live started turning their lives into sketches, the message was clear. Royalty was gone. Punchline had arrived. Elon built electric cars. He's going to Mars. Why is he even involving himself with Twitter? It would be like if the Prince of England gave it all up just to marry an actor from Suits. That line stung because it reminded everyone of the truth. Prince Harry didn't trade up, he traded down. His relevance didn't rise, it evaporated. Then Snill went for the throat. NBC has announced plans for a spin-off to the hit series Suits. It will focus on Meghan Markle's character struggle to balance her legal career while also caring for an unemployed immigrant. When your life becomes parody, you've lost control of the narrative completely. And then they dragged her acting career into daylight. My brother's fiance, Miss Meghan Markle, is on the American program Suit. Yes, Wednesdays, 8 p.m. USA Network. The only difference between that show and this is people watch this. One show, one role, and suddenly the world was supposed to treat it like a legendary raceham. That disconnect is why the jokes never stopped. The kids are being fussy and not going to bed. She puts on an episode of Suits, and they're out. And just when it seemed like things couldn't get worse, Joe Coy walked onto the Golden Globe stage and chose violence. Just a great series about a rich white dysfunctional family all scheming. Oh no, that's The Crown. That's The Crown. I'm sorry. Award show hosts usually play safe. Joe Coy didn't. And everyone noticed. Turns out, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle will still get paid millions of dollars for doing absolutely nothing. And that's just by Netflix. That Netflix deal became a running industry joke. Millions spent. Zero clarity. Content nobody could explain, let alone remember. Jimmy Kimmel wasn't done either. Harry said racism was a big part of their decision to leave, which you know things were bad at Buckingham Palace if they came to America to get away from racism. That line didn't need exaggeration. The logic collapsed on its own. And then came the memoir. Prince Harry, whose memoir just broke the Guinness record for fastest selling nonfiction book of all time, it's called The Prince and the Penis. Hundreds of pages of privileged whining turned into late night comedy fodder. And suddenly, Spare wasn't brave. It was embarrassing. Then Jimmy Fallon targeted Meghan's lifestyle branding. Why does Meghan Markle make her own pretzel bags? She takes it from one bag and puts it in another bag. That moment became iconic for all the wrong reasons. Peak rich person disconnect masquerading as relatability. And when the Oprah interview wasn't enough and the Netflix series wasn't enough, they went back for more. The 60 Minutes interview was a great chance to hear Harry and Meghan's story in case you missed their 2-hour sit-down with Oprah or their 6-part Netflix documentary. Talking, explaining, repeating, oversharing, and people stopped listening. Then Stephen Colbert mocked the forced branding. Meghan Markle has finally revealed why she and Prince Harry call each other M and H fake intimacy, forced cuteness, power couple cosplay. And at first, Trevor Noah defended her, and I know some people are disappointed by the name Archie, but that defense didn't last. Prince Harry really did that at a movie premiere last year. He asked the CEO of Disney to hook his wife up with voiceovers. That's when the illusion collapsed. Empire-building royalty reduced to pitching Disney execs for voice work. Royal marriages once shaped empires, now it's begging Bob Iger for a Lion King voiceover. And from there, British comics went nuclear. I said Meghan Markle is of course a lifelong feminist, which she's demonstrated by marrying a prince and giving up her job. Contradiction exposed. Feminism traded for a title. And that was only the beginning, and once British comedians smelled weakness, they didn't crack jokes anymore. They went for blood. Harry and Meghan say they'd now like to split their time between spending your money in the UK and spending your money in Canada. That line hit taxpayers straight in the chest. Because while Meghan complained about how unbearable royal life was, British citizens were watching their money fund the lifestyle she openly despised. And that's when irritation turned into rage. Simon Brodkin sat through the entire Netflix documentary hoping there would be some redemption. I watched the Harry and Meghan Netflix documentary. I'll be honest with you, before I watched it, I was not a fan of theirs. But now I've actually heard their side of the story. I hate them. That documentary didn't soften opinions, it hardened them. People went in neutral and came out furious. They started off and they're making interesting points about racism and misogyny. Then they start calling each other H and M. And I just thought, oh, do off. Real issues buried under cringe theatrics. That's where it all fell apart. Then Prince Harry's poetic nonsense pushed people over the edge. Harry starts describing this one date with Meghan as the night, let me quote you here, me and M pulled the pin on a fun grenade. I actually started rooting for Prince Andrew. When your storytelling is so unbearable it makes Prince Andrew seem sympathetic, that's not bad writing. That's catastrophic. Harry says, how do you explain to someone who you've just started dating that that they have to curtsy to your own grandmother? And the answer was painfully obvious. Maybe just tell her that your grandmother is the queen. Royal protocol isn't rocket science. If you're dating into the monarchy, maybe learn the rules before the wedding instead of crying after. Yeah, they were very worried about their safety, which I get that aspect of things after 6 episodes. I wanted to attack. 6 episodes of whining can make people forget your valid concerns entirely. That's a skill. A dark one. Then Kelly Osbourne stepped in and didn't bother being polite. I think Harry he's a whining, wanging, complaining, woe is me. She didn't attack royalty. She attacked entitlement. Like, my life was so hard. Everybody's life is hard. That's what finally snapped people back to reality. Struggle from a mansion doesn't read as pain, it reads as insult. You were the prince of a goddamn country who dressed up as a Nazi, and now you're trying to come back as the Pope. Suck it. The past doesn't disappear just because you hired better PR. Then Bill Maher walked in and dismantled the entire act. They want it both ways. Let me write a book about how much we don't want attention. Complaining about fame while touring globally to promote a memoir about fame. The contradiction was impossible to defend. Never complain, never explain. Queen Elizabeth understood something Harry and Meghan never did. Silence is power. Oversharing is weakness. You're complaining about your hard life and you're so privileged. It's just so weird. And the audience agreed, loudly. Then Nikki Glaser said the quiet part out loud. She wants to be famous. She found the guy to make her the most famous in the world. There it was. No conspiracy, no mystery, just ambition. If she didn't marry him, she would be on The Bachelor this season. That line burned because it sounded believable. Then Conan O'Brien didn't even need Meghan and Harry themselves. He used their wax figures. I was curious what they did with Harry and Meghan's wax figures. Even replicas weren't safe from Mockery. I'm definitely not using the wax figures for sex. Absurd. Ridiculous. And somehow accurate. Then he moved on to Meghan's jam business. Really tiny jams. Harvestable jams. That jam became symbolic. Overpriced. Pretentious. Nobody asked for it. Then even John Oliver, usually neutral, careful, finally said it. I don't think they will change because I don't think they have the capacity to. That wasn't a joke, that was a judgment. And when Meghan walked into a yoga studio, she couldn't even do that quietly. Is this true? Meghan Markle has ruined your workout regime? Every appearance became performance. Every moment became PR. Then influencers finished what comedians started. Take the snack out of one bag and then move them into another bag. Basic action sold as lifestyle wisdom. People didn't laugh anymore, they mocked. How I prepare water for my guests. Flower petals and water became the perfect metaphor. Style without substance. Any type of flower arranging is just telling a story. Maybe leave the country. Maybe down your dad. The hypocrisy was no longer subtle. It was viral. Then South Park entered. You've lived a life with the royal family, but you say your life has been hard. Cartoons strip the illusion faster than journalists ever could. My Instagram-loving wife has always wanted her privacy. That line echoed worldwide. We want privacy. We want privacy. A global tour begging for privacy. The irony wrote itself. Then Family Guy followed. Sir, you're millions from Netflix for no one knows what. Netflix money turned into a punchline. Babe, time to do our daily $250,000 sponsored Instagram post. From royal duty to influencer hustle. The fall was complete. Then Spitting Image went nuclear. I'm Megan Sussex and I'm a good person. Puppet Meghan exposed what people whispered. I am preparing my guests some soul food, a packet of crisps. Her entire brand reduced to a flower on a bag of chips. H, don't make me get the electric collar out. Control, condescension, power imbalance. And suddenly, it vanished. Many believe legal pressure erased it, but erasing only made people want it more. Living close to Oprah and far from the paparazzi. Ooh, but not too far. Privacy, as long as cameras were nearby. If I want to play polo in my living room, who's going to stop me? Watching Prince Harry shrink while Meghan expanded was uncomfortable and unforgettable. And when Spitting Image disappeared, people noticed. South Park stayed. Too big to silence. Trying to erase criticism only confirmed it. And that's how Meghan Markle didn't just lose public favor. She lost control of the story. Celebrities didn't disrespect her for sport. They reacted. They mocked what felt fake. They attacked what felt forced. And when the jokes kept landing, it wasn't cruelty anymore. It was consensus. Those were some of the most brutal moments of celebrities tearing into Meghan Markle on live TV. And honestly, there are still more. Drop the names. Drop the moments. Because the internet never forgets, and neither does the audience. And neither does the audience. And neither does the audience. And neither